Good evening, YouTube. Wanted to go over a few different pocket knives that I've had here, and the one thing I'll tell you, my view on pocket knives is that they are meant to do small tasks. These are not meant to be a survival knife. A folding knife will never hold up like a fixed blade knife will. That's just something I want to get out of the way right now. And does that mean they don't have a use? Absolutely not. Pocket knives are fantastic. They've been around forever, and they do have their uses, but they do also have their limitations. These are not knives you're going to be batoning wood with. These are not knives you're going to be doing all of the survival tasks with you would like with a bushcraft knife or a survival knife. I would also always carry one of these knives with me, especially as a backup to any other knife that you have. Now let me go over a few of the ones I have here. This is a small knife here. This is a great little knife for a backup for a camper or a pack or something. This is a old timer, and this is a American-made Schrade Old Timer. If you notice now, Schrade is no longer made in America, unfortunately. I've had this knife for a while. I've used it some, but it's mostly meant for as a backup, just to carry around, and it's a very nice knife for what it is, and it'll hold up well. It still has a very nice edge on it, and it's a nice little knife. This would be an excellent knife for someone if you just wanted to give somebody a simple pocket knife, a kid, something like that starting out. This would be excellent, but it also makes an excellent little pocket knife, and that's what I would recommend it for as a backup. This would be good for little tasks. Could you gut a deer with this? Absolutely, absolutely. Great for like small fish, cutting, cleaning fish. This would be perfect. Maybe not as a great fillet knife, but for just gutting fish, perfect. Cutting small pieces of paracord or rope, sure. Big chores, absolutely not. But a great knife nonetheless, and they're not expensive. At least, even if you find these used, an American-made one on eBay, you're not going to pay a lot for it, $12, $13 at the most. This is a knife. You get a lot of these as promotionals. I wouldn't have bought this. I was given this. It's kind of an imitation. You see a lot of these out there. These are Chinese-made imitations of Swiss Army knives. You can see how thin that blade is, and you can even compare it to the Schrade. Look at the difference. You know, I mean, this is something you just keep. Definitely as a backup. You know, it's got a few useful gadgets on there. That's about all this one's good for. I wouldn't even buy one of these. If somebody gives you one, absolutely do not throw it away. Use it. You just keep it in the bottom of a pack somewhere as a last ditch or something like that. This knife here I've had for a long time. I actually found this in a parking lot, and once we where I worked, and we tried to get a hold of see if anybody lost it. This is another Schrade. I mean, I've found a good love for Schrades. Another American-made Schrade. This is a nice little pocket knife, little backup knife. Very sharp. Had this a long time. I've had this at least almost going on 15 years, and but it is what it is. This is again a good backup knife, a good knife just to have in your pocket, just when you need one for little tasks. Again, could this gut a deer? Sure could. And other small tasks, but that's again about all these are good for. And especially this one, this was definitely an economy knife, but still a good little knife for what it is. This knife here I picked up in an antique store last year. I've had a couple of these. I've got another one. It doesn't say, this one says Camp King on it. The other one doesn't have anything on this, but it's an imperial knife. And imperial knives, very well made. Long time ago. They don't make these. Haven't made these in years. Very well made. Very tough knife. Good round blade, and you can see this one has been used. And I sharpened it, but it didn't need much. This thing has an edge you would not believe. And it's got a couple little gadgets. It's got the can openers. It's got the bottle opener, etc. And, but again, this was $10. Could it do the job of gutting a deer? It doesn't have the best point on it. It's sharp. It's sharp enough. but it certainly has the edge that'll do it. And again, it's $10. Where are you going to find a good American-made knife for $10? So if you see one of these lying around, and I see these on eBay all the time, and they're all made by Imperial. If I can get, I'm gonna see if I can get in here so you can see this a little better. See if it'll focus on me here. There we go. You know, Imperial, very nice knife. You know, very nice. I mean, you don't get better than this. You know, especially for the money, $10, $11 on eBay all day long. I've got 2 or 3 of these exactly the same. Same knife, same everything. I keep one in my pack. Keep them around. They're very handy. But my favorite all-time pocket knife is my Uncle Henry. And I have had this knife, again, another American-made Schrade. I have had this knife, has to be at least 15 years, if not longer, and I cannot give you an amount of work that this has done over the years. And you can see it's worn, but it's still in excellent shape. I have gutted deer. I have the number of deer, game birds, fish, astronomical. I mean, just about everything over the years has definitely been used with this knife. I mean, it is a phenomenal knife. I bought this for, I think, $12 brand new. You still see them. I would recommend, to me, I would go online to eBay and buy a used American-made Schrade long before I would buy a Chinese-made one. You can always tell. You know, let's see, for this to, hopefully, there we go. There we go, Schrade USA. And this knife, you cannot ask for better. But again, this is not a survival knife. It is what it is. It's got a nice feel to it, always has, and it's tight. Some of these knives, you'll see the scale start to loosen up. As much as I've used and carried this knife, it is just as tight and locked up as the day I bought it. I mean, you can even, you know, it locks up nice. You know, it's very crisp, very tight. Nothing moves. But again, you've got to understand, these are all not survival knives. These are good, everyday packing knives. You know, good backup to a survival knife or to a bushcraft knife. But they have their limitations. You can't baton them. You can't beat on them. You know, like you would a fixed blade knife, but they're not meant to be. So, if you see a knife like this, in a gun show, I see a lot of them at gun shows, they're everywhere. If you see a knife like this, $8, $9, $10 or so, especially the American-made Schrades, buy it. You will never be unhappy that you bought one, unless it's been beat on, the blade's all bent, some idiot pounded it into the ground. You know, and try to do things that it was never meant to do. Which is how you see knife blades get bent and snapped, is from stupid mentality that they think you can use as a pry bar or something like that. But if you see a good one at a gun show, $9, $10, you know, maybe even $11 or $12, buy it. You will never be unhappy with it. You'll get years of use out of it. Your kids will get years of use out of it. Your grandkids will if you take care of them long enough. I can't even guess how old this Imperial is. It's got to be probably from the 40s or so, maybe even older than that. So there you go, boys and girls. Go out and find yourself one of these knives. You won't regret it. Have a good night, YouTube.